What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Rip City Rundown podcast, another emergency podcast. This is now podcast 3 of the week, episode 101. And another trade has gone down in Trailblazers land. And it's another one that's, I think, leaving all of us in a good place. And we are excited to talk about. The Blazers have flipped to Jrue Holiday, the guy that was the centerpiece of the Dame trade just a couple days ago, flip him to the Celtics in exchange for Robert Williams, Malcom Brogdon, a 2024 first-round pick from Golden State, and I want to make sure I'm getting this right, a 2029 first-round pick from Boston?
Yeah.
I believe that's right. So now, in totality, from trading Dame, Nurk, Nasir, and Keon, you pick up DeAndre Ayton, Robert Williams, the guy, I don't remember how to pronounce his name, like
Kamara.
which
He's from Dayton.
I saw you read a little about him. I want to hear about him. I actually don't know anything about him. I'll be transparent about that. Malcom Brogdon, first round pick from the Bucks, 2 pick swaps, first round pick via the Warriors, first round pick via the Celtics. First reaction from a whole macro sense, West. How are you feeling about? Actually, I mean, we're not even done yet. We still could flip Brogdon, but at this moment, how are you feeling? How would you rank what Joe's done in this whole situation? Just trade wise.
I would say he didn't. Okay, well, I said from the beginning, I thought the Miami package was weak and that Joe could do better. I did not think that, or a lot of people thought that Joe would not do that and go to Miami, and vast majority. So for me, he didn't really surpass expectations, but I think for the general opinion of the fan base, he definitely did, because he did not settle for the Miami package.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I think it's a good. I think he's done a pretty good job. Does this classify as a suit?
Oh, valid.
Do we remember the suit bet?
Yeah, Cody, do you remember the suit bet?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that, but it was just a bet on Cole, you thought.
I thought we were going to settle for Miami. I thought we were going to go to back package, and in my opinion, again, I mean, in 3 days, my opinion could slightly change once it sinks down. But initial reaction, I'm happy in a vacuum of what Joe has done since this whole Dame situation has started. He was patient. He still sent Dame to a spot that we can all agree. I'm pretty sure Dame is okay being there. I mean, he's got his best chance ever to win a championship, and the return is really good for the most part. I mean, sure, would you rather have a blue chip marquee prospect in return? Yes. But teams that were trading for Dame, and that, because if we did that and say we trade him to the Spurs and we get back Keldon Johnson and that's your blue chip prospect, I probably would have been like, why are you sending Dame to the Spurs? That sucks. So to basically please all parties, at least partially, I think Joe did about as best as he could. And he's also shaking the Eastern Conference playoff race.
Yeah.
Which is just so funny.
One quick thing. I think that, just to play devil's advocate about the blue chip prospect, most teams, when they trade their star player, they're kicking in the rebuild like that day starts it. Unless, I don't know, like Harden when he left the Rockets. Right. Our blue chip prospect is Scoot. Like we've been bad for 2 years now. Like, I've seen a lot of comments that are like, great start to the rebuild. And like, yes, we're now publicly rebuilding, but who knows how long it's been the vision of Joe Cronin to want to do this. That's up for debate, and we've definitely debated that. But I do think that we are on a good track here, and we have young talent. And I've been seeing comments like we might be a little too good in terms of just the talent we have, because with Ayton, Time Lord, I mean, who knows if Brogdon stays? I know we could flip him, but that could definitely be something we do at the deadline, just because of his injury history. He got a trade with him with the Clippers got vetoed.
Yeah, I think he's still injured right now. I don't remember what.
Yeah, so
weird.
We maybe hang on to him, maybe not. But I want to give Joe Cronin credit for the sole fact that he turned a front court of Nurk and Eubanks into Ayton and Time Lord. Time Lord being Robert Williams.
Quite literally the opposite in terms of athleticism, and defensive potential and everything in between, which is exactly what we wanted. Cody, what was your reaction to the trade? Specifically this second one, trading out Jrue Holiday for Time Lord.
I was really happy. I mean, honestly, with this whole situation, I feel better about it every day as it goes on, as more things happen and I have more time to settle in. And first of all, pardon me for the location with all these
Yeah, how's the
emergency
temp?
podcasts. It's not too bad. And dog crap microphone. I'm sorry. Even my main setup, my microphone is atrocious. I don't know why. I'm sorry. We'll figure it out. I know you guys listening are just waiting for Cole to speak probably because my microphone's just that bad right now. But I don't know. We'll see how bad it is in the recording. But I don't think the trade's over. Brogdon, he's a sharpshooter championship piece. And I think teams that are contending are going to want him. So as good as I felt about the trade, I don't think it's over yet. And Robert Williams, I am so excited for him. What a beast. He's always a guy I want on our team. 25 years old. So if we were to be good in 4 years from now, he would fit our timeline perfectly as Scoot's entering his prime, and he'd
Time
be,
Lord.
yeah, Time Lord at his prime. He's seven. No, he's not 7 feet. He's 6'10", probably. He's like a short center kind of, but he has a 7'6" wingspan. I noticed, which is one of the not. It's one of the longest wingspans in the NBA, other than what that guy named with the song Mobamba. So that's crazy.
Maybe Victor Wembanyama too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy. But
Hey, he doesn't
overall,
count.
Who?
he killed it in the finals, and he impressed me with his rebound. So I'm really excited. And if we're gonna be play in the playoffs in a few years from now, he's a guy that I want to keep and not trade at all. So
Yeah.
really excited.
And just to prove that Joe Cronin was correct in the decision, certain Blazer sources have been saying this. We've been saying this. This trade right here is the reason why we viewed Milwaukee better than Miami, because I'm sorry, I don't care that Tyler Hero is the sixth man of the year. Jrue Holiday is better and had a higher market, or it's not higher market, had a better like return in terms of what the market was. So this was the reason for dealing with Milwaukee. And then you get, honestly, I was expecting 2 firsts and a young player. So if it was like 2 firsts and Robert Williams, I still probably would have been fine with that. But getting Brogdon too, I'm not going to act like Brogdon is, what he once was, because I mean his last playoff run was not great at all, and he has injury concerns right
Gosh,
now.
just take his under and you would have been rich.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he is another guy who is flippable, and this is what the Blazers had to do with the current market and where Dame's, what teams were interested in Dame and who wasn't. This is what Joe Cronin had to do was, just little by little, kind of like down the assembly line, flip, 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 and then you look at it in totality. And I think that the package that we got here for Jrue Holiday, coupled with Ayton and the Milwaukee picks and Kamara, is, I don't even think Miami could offer that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they did.
Yeah,
It's
I don't think
just
they would have either.
it's just beautiful because like for the Blazers, Dame was 33 years old, and we probably had at least 3 or more just killer superstar years left in his tank. And the fact that we were able to trade him, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to view that, for all these pieces we have acquired so far, with that addition of drafting Scoot and Shaden and keeping Anthony, it's just like you said. I think whenever you said it before a couple minutes ago, it makes all parties happy, and it's just that's part of the reason why I think I'm feeling better about the situation every day. Because if you kind of think about it, everyone wins in a way. I think the Celtics also getting Holiday is really good for them. I think the Bucks and Celtics are going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals next year. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that would
I
be just wild.
that would be crazy. I'm kind of to touch on that, Cole. You said earlier, like Joe Cronin is deciding the Eastern Conference race in a way. I kind of view Joe Cronin as like
He is.
an arms dealer for like this war that's breaking out in the Eastern Conference. Joe
Yeah, I mean,
Cronin,
trade deadline, he's probably gonna send Jeremy Grant to Philly
and
or something.
who would have thought that the team that was so like pretentious and just like, give us Dame, here's our broke boy offering, get out of here, Miami. Not only did they not get Dame, but they didn't get Holiday. And the 2 teams that did get those guys
They're two biggest
are the 2 teams that like, yeah. And then you have Embiid and Philly. Like it's just a domino effect. And it is kind of refreshing to see the Blazers be a part of big moves again, because let's face it, the former front office, we would get excited when Nick Stauskas would sign with Portland. Like, that's a low bar, man. So, like you said, Cody, fortunately or unfortunately, whether you like it that Dame got traded or not, it's happened. So A, just you're gonna have to deal with it if you don't like it. And B, I will argue to you that it is the correct move because of not. And I was an advocate for Dame's age not being a factor, but like you said, he it's not like he's gonna have 10 years left in the tank. He's not Tom Brady. He's not. It's not like NFL where you can just play quarterback and stand back there. Like, he's still gonna have to average. I mean, he's going to have to. I know they have Giannis, but to win a championship, Dame's going to still have to cook.
Mhm.
So I think it's the right move because you're bringing in a guy in Scoot, who obviously is not going to replace Dame's production. But I think by diminishing the point guard position a little bit, bringing in Scoot, letting him develop, you're adding in other places. The center position, theoretically, that position is filled. I mean, obviously, if certain situations come up in 2027, 2028, and you have a ton of draft capital and there's a center, like you just never know. It's cool that Portland could be good in 2026, 2027. And then we're filling that and backing that up with all this draft capital we have at the end of the decade, which, by the way, people, I know you're like the Boston pick could be terrible in 2029. We could trade that pick too. Like we just have
It could also be really good.
It could also be really
Boston was in
good.
the lottery for 3 years.
Boston is in
6 years
cap just destruction with that team that they're paying. So
Yeah.
you never know. In Milwaukee, Giannis, Dame,
Yeah.
that ship could sail in 2027.
Yeah.
Hey, and then we wait for the West to get a little older and deteriorate 5 years from now, and boom, we got the best squad in the NBA.
There you go.
I do want to talk about the squad in general, and just how things have changed and shifted from 2 weeks ago when we were talking about West. You said, what's the over under for our wins? And we said 25.5. And I took the under. And that was me assuming we were going to get back a majority draft pick and the Heat offer, quite frankly. But we end up bringing back not only guys that are young, but also guys that have proven they can be a part of winning rosters. I mean, the two centerpieces were both centers for championship teams or championship caliber teams that made the finals.
Yep.
So, I mean, you're looking at a team of Scoot, Shade, and Ant, Jeremy, Time Lord, Ayton. Then you still have Matisse. You still got Chris Murray. Brogdon as of now. You got Ryan Rupert. But in all seriousness, I mean, this squad gives me a little bit of vibes of last year's Jazz team, where it's a lot of just talent put together. Obviously, this team, talent-wise, is not the worst in the league now, but they also don't have that star player that they can rally around that can carry them to a 7 seed. But the Jazz were sniffing at the 10 seed all year. They ended up just missing out. I'm pretty sure they ended up the 11th seed, but I could very well see the Blazers, which we can argue if it's a good thing or a bad thing team building wise. I mean, I'm not going to say we should have taken a worse offer so we can be worse next year. But just expectation wise, I think this team is now better for next year. So
100%.
That is an interesting aspect of the entire trade in general.
This team is sneaky talented. I predicted, I think 2 podcasts ago, that we would have under 25 wins at the season. I think it's appropriate that we reevaluate our claims just because of what has happened the last month. Is low. At the moment, I would switch ships, honestly, and say that the Blazers are going to win over 25 games just because of the pure talent.
I would probably put the line now at like 33, 34. I don't want to say like 37 because then that's actually playing, but
we're definitely gonna get a pick probably, but like the thing is, I almost want to say a pick isn't even like, okay, we want to pick obviously very badly, but experience is honestly so underrated, undervalued, important at this moment because we have so many players that just need minutes. That's how they're going to get better, just minutes. And playing a season where even if we accidentally made the play-in, it would still suck if we somehow made the playoffs on accident and got bounced in the first round, didn't get a pick. But at the end of the day, we just need experience, and that's really important, I'd say, at the moment. But hey, if we can get a 1 pick, obviously that would be killer. But
Yeah.
Everyone just needs time right now because Scoot hasn't played a game. Shaden's had only like 6 months of maybe 5 months of good solid playing time. And yeah. And
Yeah.
then everyone's decently experienced, but
Right. I mean, I think the average age is 24 now. I saw.
Wild.
Average age is 24.
I mean,
It's
longest
young.
tenured player is Anthony, which is just
Right.
mind blowing. This
Yeah.
page was almost started when Anthony got drafted. I started
who's the
this
oldest
like
player in our
a
team?
year,
Probably
year and a
Brogdon.
half after.
It could be Grant. It's Grant or Brogdon. Oldest one.
Yeah. I'm not sure
One of
who's
those two.
older. I don't know.
Do you guys want to switch gears into the hit piece by Chris Haynes?
Honestly, not really.
Okay. We don't
I
have
just,
to.
I will
I
say,
feel like we should because we should give our opinion on it and what we think, as much as it sucks.
okay, well, here's where I stand on it. Um, Obviously, people coming in and listening to this podcast are probably already going to the comments and saying, well, last podcast you said you hate Cronin. 2 podcasts ago you said you hate Cronin. You tweeted how you still don't like Cronin. There's the emotional side to things, and there's the team building. That's our GM. What actual pen paper moves, black and white moves he's done. From the black and white portion, I think Joe has done a solid job this offseason post July 1st in terms of how he's handled this situation. From like literally, if I didn't know his personality, if I didn't know anything, just as a GM. Emotionally, you can't read that piece. And obviously there's different sides of the story, but I can't read that and say I'm a fan of Joe or I'm proud to, I don't know. I read
No,
that and
I know
it
what you
just
said.
made me really frustrated.
Right.
I do think
You
people
should explain. Some
okay,
people
Yeah.
don't know
so
it.
obviously there's this article that comes out by Chris Haynes, and it's basically just Dame talking about basically how the summer went down. He's talking about how he wanted to go to Miami. He was all in on Miami. Um, he realized that Joe wasn't going to budge. He tried to communicate and back and say like, um, can you still find a way to get me to Miami, Joe? There's not really much communication in early September. So then Aaron Goodwin, his agent, and Dame are like, okay, so maybe we should start communicating with other teams that I might want to play with. Maybe that's how the Bucks get involved. Um, and then Dame goes into the practice facility, not with the team, but just like on his own schedule. Apparently, Joe doesn't talk to him at all. Dame says, okay, well, I'm not going to talk to you back. I'm leaving out a detail that I was going to say that made. Oh, yeah. Dame comes back and says, well, if you're not going to trade me to Miami, then I would like to stay in Portland. And then the quote that made the rounds is Joe saying, no, there's
So
no coming back. But I'm going to, this is where I think that got blown out of proportion because it was also stated, I don't know if this was a part of the article or Chris Haynes on his own podcast said that Dame wasn't saying I want to come back because I want to play for the Blazers, which is how I reacted at first. He was saying, I'll come back, play for the first until the trade deadline, and hopefully you can work out a deal with Miami. So
yeah.
I think I'm not going to sit here and say Dame looks bad because I do think most of the things that have happened is not because of him. I think we can all agree Dame's agent was terrible throughout this situation, did not know how to handle it. And I think we can agree that Joe, from a public speaking perspective, and just I don't think Dame's lying when he says Joe didn't say anything to him. And I do think that's a little childish. So I think Joe was a little childish in the situation. And I think Dame's agent was pretty bad in just the way he went about things. When I first read it, oh my gosh, when I tell you I was
No,
hot.
yeah. I
I
mean,
was so hot, but I think it's settled down. And I think people blew it a bit out of proportion, including myself.
yeah. I mean, we're all emotional that Dame has to leave Portland. So I was definitely emotional. When I first read that, I was like, that's crazy that Joe would have the balls to say that to Dame. But to play devil's advocate, Joe Cronin's job is to make the team better. It's not to appease Dame.
Yeah, and
Now,
I want to say I just want to say something real quick before you keep going because that's something that I've just been thinking about. the only reason I'm this invested in Joe Cronin is because we as a podcast are this invested in the Blazers.
Of course.
Honestly, most like this probably goes down with a bunch of other teams and a bunch of other sports where the GM
Yep.
says one thing and does the other thing. It's just we as a podcast, our job is to kind of nitpick every single thing that's said, and it causes
Well,
us to take
fans,
everything
yeah,
like super seriously. So because the more I think about it, it's not like the GM can just say everything and then just do it exactly. That
called
doesn't
me
mean I'm
up.
still not mad at Joe Cronin. Like I think he just did things terribly this whole offseason just publicly. But maybe that's what needed to happen for this package to go down. I don't know.
Yeah.
You feel like
So go ahead, Cody.
I mean, you have to hear both sides of the situation. I mean, it's obvious that there were some bumps in Cronin and Dame's relationship. Like, you just can't deny that at this point.
He didn't thank him in his thank you letter.
Which
I
is
mean,
very funny.
yeah, exactly. Given how much I know about Haynes and Dame, like, I'm gonna believe him. And it sucks, like, what do you want me? I'm not gonna say like money talks, because like if you're a bad person, can you still be a good GM? Like Wes, you were saying how he's just doing his
Yes.
job, but is that true? I mean, look at Neil. I mean, he was a bad person and a bad GM, so he doesn't really qualify. He's just crap all around. But
Right.
can you be like, I don't know.
I mean, to be honest,
It's really hard for me to have
That's my
opinions on
reaction.
him.
I don't even know at this point.
to be a
I
good
don't know.
GM, I feel like you have to kind of have some cold-heartedness in a way. Not saying I'm not defending Joe, but what I will say is Joe, like I said, his job as a general manager is to make the franchise better, both short-term and long-term. And also, Joe did, I'm not sure if it was on the Woj piece or I definitely saw it somewhere, is that Joe Cronin's goal, he said when he makes deals, is for everyone to win. So Miami fans can cry me a river because Damian Lillard is now in position to win a championship. Okay. And Milwaukee is a good destination. I don't care that it's not the South Beach weather. You're playing with Giannis. Not only that, but Phoenix got what they wanted, which, we can debate like why Phoenix wanted that, but Phoenix got what they wanted. And we got what we wanted. And the same thing with Boston. Boston, apparently, a lot of people were saying Boston got fleeced, so to speak. I mean, no one knows who wins a trade until Loki that 2029 pick conveys.
Got to
Like
give up good
it's
players to
stupid.
get good players.
It's stupid to grade trades, I think, because so much stuff can happen. Like for example, the CJ trade got Grant, but if Grant depends on what Grant gets, it's all fluid. Like people just like to talk about if teams get fleeced or not, but Boston really coveted Jrue Holiday and they wanted him because Jrue Holiday is, I mean,
The best thing to put against
2018,
Dame, let's be honest. Yeah.
2018 first round. I mean, locked him up. Granted, I think Dame has matured and is a better player than he was in 2018.
And it'll help to have Giannis next to
And
him.
it'll help to have Giannis as an outlet. But the point is that Joe wanted everyone to be happy. And in my opinion, I think where I end up is I'm more upset with, okay, if I just rank them all, Aaron Goodwin is the most. I'm the most upset at him. Then it's Joe, then it's Dame. I'm really not going to get mad at Dame. Dame wanted Miami. I thought some of his cryptic tweets and just constantly posting Miami stuff was a little just immature in a way. Like, just let your agent do the work. But his agent did. I understand why Joe is mad because Joe is trying to trade a franchise player. I mean, arguably, his tenure is going to be defined by this trade. Because if Ayton and Time Lord don't work out and Scoot's not good, Joe Cronin, he could be up out of here in like 3 years if he's not careful. So this was a big trade to make both for him and for the franchise. And Aaron Goodwin comes out and tries to tank the market and send Dame to a team that obviously has just a bare cupboard, bare cupboard. And I think Joe took offense. I think Joe was definitely a little upset. And so I don't blame him there. And also just think about it. If Dame's like, I want to rescind my trade request so I can give you more time. And Joe Cronin has already been like just grinding for a couple months, waiting for the market, talking to teams. Because in the Woj piece, he and the Bucks GM, they had been going back and forth in private for a while. It was a big part of why that Bucks deal got done, is because they wanted to do in private. I don't know if did you read the article, Cole?
Not read that one.
Okay, so the article pretty much, it was kind of crazy because Phoenix, the Bucks GM wanted it so private that Phoenix did not know they were getting Grayson Allen. Joe had to tell Phoenix it was like a mystery player, and he gave them age and salary, and Phoenix came down to it's either Grayson Allen or Victor Oladipo. And then at the like 11th hour,
because they thought it could be a 3-team deal with the Heat.
Right. And well, I just don't Phoenix never knew that the Bucks were the third team in the deal, because the Bucks did not want that to get out.
Yeah.
And so literally Joe did not tell
how you got a GM.
The Phoenix general management until like the 11th hour. And he was like, yeah, it's Grayson Allen. Then apparently the Phoenix brass like huddled up and they were like, we loved Grayson Allen. Like, we'll do the deal. And then it literally happened. So I don't know. I feel like Joe Cronin played his cards right. I feel like Dame's camp did not. And I don't know. It's just like Dame didn't have a no trade clause. He couldn't veto trades.
Yeah, Dame's camp played it bad, but he still ended up in a place that I would say was top 3 on his list.
He's gonna win a championship.
I don't think he's mad.
Gonna root for him. We're gonna root for him in these finals.
Did you see him?
I don't think Dame's mad.
Did you see his like introduction?
It looks so weird, dude. He looks
so weird in a Bucks uniform. But
so
there was
weird.
like thousands of people there just to see him walk in the arena. I do like Milwaukee is one of the closest things you can get in terms of like fan support, fan love to Portland. So
yeah,
I've always been a Giannis guy, so like they're a pretty likable team.
Yeah.
Location wise, that's harsh. You go from Portland to Wisconsin, but you know,
is it better than Portland? But think about it, during basketball, see, he still wants to spend his summers in Portland, and that's really the only time you should be in Portland is in the summers.
Dude, he's got his like respect program in Portland. He's
been taught. I saw a quote that like he doesn't know if he even wants to like move his kids, which is just a reality check that this is real life.
Yeah.
But back to Joe Cronin.
Coming back,
the
boys.
only thing he has left is Brogdon. Do you think Brogdon will, I guess, play the season, or do you think he'll be traded at the trade deadline, or do you think we'll keep him for a while? What do you guys think about Brogdon? Because I don't think Joe Cronin's done.
I think Brogdon gets flipped before the season.
Okay.
Because
for what though? For what? Do you think we?
I think
for players.
I think he could fetch a obviously salary match.
Big protected, like late protected first.
I would say a late first, or it's just because it's also this injury thing. Talent wise, he's just a first round pick, but I don't
rooting
know
guide this year. We are rooting for the Bucks and the Blazers this year, and we're rooting against Golden State. We got Golden State's pick in this upcoming draft.
Yeah.
Draymond Green, sprained his ankle. Who knows if Golden State like goes to the play-in, misses out,
just
lottery action,
a couple more swings at some star players.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he punches Curry instead of Poole. Remember start of the offseason we were talking about a sign and trade for Draymond Green? Wow, how things have changed.
That's crazy.
We were talking about that in the garage, and then the next day in the garage the garage in Montana, and then next day we were in the Suits talking about the trade or trade request. But my final thing on Joe is if this was like 2K, he would be getting like very good grades, and if you just looked at just the transaction list, just in terms of you draft Scoot, you trade Dame. Well, let's be honest, that's probably his best like counting stat season he's going to have left in his career. So you could argue it's when his value is at the highest. You bring back pieces that fit the team and team needs. So from that perspective, it's really good. But
it makes sense for the first time.
Yeah. Also, from the other perspective, I also don't think Dame is just mad at Joe for not talking to him for 3 weeks. Dame's probably also have some built-up frustration because, I mean, Dame, when he signed that deal, the quotes are there, black and white. I trust Joe and Chauncey because they told me they want to win around me. So, again, Joe has gone a different direction, and at least he's not like Neil Olshey, and he's not trying to straddle this line. And honestly, we should have seen this coming when we drafted Shaedon Sharpe, because straddling the line is just not a thing you can do. That was you have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. So and they didn't even straddle the line. Did any of their young talent pan out? No. So it really doesn't work That's really all I have when it comes to that. We did re-sign Skylar Mays, so
Yeah,
you guys want
don't
to
care.
dig into
Don't
that?
care.
Good for him.
Um,
Good for him. Yeah, we can transition. Blazers play October 25th. Who are the starting five guys?
That's
Who
a
are the
good
starting five?
question.
Is Williams starting? That's my question. Is Williams going to start next to Aiton?
dude,
I did see
I
a
think
quote that Aiton's always wanted to be a power forward, but I don't think
yeah, I
that's.
don't know about that. I feel like it's I don't know if they'll start together or not, but I just think this team will just the spacing is going to be just awful. This team is going to be young. They're going to be fun. Like I feel
A lot
like
of turnovers.
The Blazers are going to be that team to the general NBA fan that's going to be like that, like little late night league pass. I'll watch the Blazers. They're young and fun, but we will be losing. Okay, Scoot's not going to come out of the gate and do what I mean. Look. Remember Dame's rookie year? Dame was great his rookie year.
Yeah, unanimous.
Yeah, unanimous. I mean, you didn't have Victor in his class. Victor's in '84, but um, I
I
don't know.
think the starting lineup will be Scoot, Anthony, probably Matisse, Jeremy, and Aiton. Um, I do think at some point we could see Shaden slide in to start. I'll be just very interested. It's more just like minutes distribution, obviously. Because you want Shaden playing as much as he can. You want to try to get Time Lord in there.
I can't believe Brogdon Time Lord 2 first is what we got for Jrue. That was more than I thought. I'm just saying that. I was going through the trade in my head again. Like,
you want to know who I wish we got from the Celtics?
Payne Pritchard.
Yeah.
So
Not even because we need him, because I just want
going against your guard thing, bro.
Yeah, but like a backup guard, he just would have been our Skylar Mays.
Brogdon.
They don't need him. He doesn't want to be there.
Pritchard? I mean, probably not.
He requested a trade in the middle of last season.
That would have been fun.
That would have been
that probably would have pushed us over the top. Too many wins this year.
Too many wins because Pritchard's in town. Yeah. Do you guys have anything else? I feel like Dame.
I'm lagging though.
You're good. This podcast. This is 101. Like from here on out, it's a completely new team. I mean, we're not going to do an emergency pod on a Brogdon deal. It's just like I said, the assembly line, it's getting smaller and smaller. Like the flips are getting smaller and smaller, which they can be key flips.
Next trade, I saw Magic. Next trade is going to be like Cole Anthony and 2 seconds. Then we're going to be like, are we going to flip Cole Anthony? Got to get one more second.
Would it be a Blazer deal if we didn't get a guard in return?
Yeah, in some form or fashion.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else?
I like Scoot's situation more than I do Bryce Young's situation right now, but that's a conversation for another day.
Scoot, Ant, Shaden, baby, the big three.
I think that's all we got. Thank you for listening to another non-Wednesday episode of the podcast. We're officially in the first month of NBA action. Oh, guys, media day is literally tomorrow.
I will be tuning in.
That will be fascinating to hear. I would love to hear it. I assume it'll be later for us. It's I'm pretty sure it's like morning or early afternoon Pacific time. But questions I'll be interested to hear. Backstory about just his relationship with Dame this offseason. I want to hear if he had any other offers. I want to hear what he wants to do with Brogdon.
Give you chat GPT answers.
And then it's media day, so everyone will speak.
This is what Joe's gonna say. They're gonna be like, just talk me through like your relationship with Dame. He's gonna be like, anytime you have a chance to get Dame and Lillard on your team, you just want to build around them.
He's just like, we just love having Dame here, and we're just trying to get him that championship.
And we just want him to retire a Trailblazer.
Yeah,
that's
it is what it is.
No, I bet he really will say, obviously throughout this whole time, we really just wanted to keep Dame this whole time, and someone's gonna be like, but did you?
I'll give Joe credit. In that Woj article, Woj was talking about how Joe, after Dame requested in July and August, he was studying trade structures and stuff. He said he was studying the Durant trade and just but he wrote in his journal, I'm paraphrasing, but it was don't settle, be patient, and
I saw that.
Take the emotion out of it. Now, Miami fans thinks he did the deal out of spite, but really all the emotion was coming from Dame's camp because theoretically, if Joe's sorry, Dame, you can't come back. Like he could have said it so stoically. Like he probably was like, Dame, you can't come back, bro. You've
It's
already
over, Dame.
like he definitely wasn't
It's
like
the
that.
best for
Joe,
both of us. Yeah, it was an ugly
we talked
breakup.
about Joe is annoyingly like just kind of just stoic.
Kinda,
But as a GM, you kind of need to have that like poker face. He has a good poker face. I'll give it to him.
um,
I'm kind of
but
glazed.
I'll be very interested to hear media day. So I would assume we'll probably record a short little podcast on Tuesday night, come out Wednesday afternoon, and I would assume it'll be just about media day. Because I don't think, you never know, I don't think any more trades will go down before the next podcast. But you never know. But thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys in the next podcast. Peace out.